The other thing you mentioned was fun and the spirit of fun. And seeing you talk, I think the number one thing people get from the book is kind of the way of beauty and the spirit of beauty. Having known you, I'd say almost as equally important as the spirit of beauty you have is the spirit of fun you bring as well.
Yeah, it has to be fun. It has to be fun for everybody included. That's why Owen here opened up and it became fun for everybody. Everybody's included. You saw that, right? So it's like, yeah, why not? It should be fun. It should never be heavy.
Yeah. Yes.
Heavy is a bad, 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 bad thing to be with a woman, including your wife. It should never be heavy. Heaviness is this energy. Listen, we have to talk. I need to sit down here because we have to have a conversation, and it becomes this lower driving kind of like doom-ridden energy to have a talk. The phrase even. Yeah. As soon as you hear that phrase,
we've screwed that one up. Like on the road with Knut and Nico, we turn a lot of the dark, heavy stuff and we mess it all up, so there's no way that it can actually be dark or heavy anymore. So I might sit there with a girl on the first or second date and say, listen, I've got something really serious I have to say to you. It's not nothing by the end of it. And when it comes to a moment where actually there's something really serious I've got to say, when I try and be serious, it's like that. It's got that seed planted in it that actually it can't be serious. We all know that we have serious moments, but just like the yin yang, there's always a spot of light.
Serious is good. You might be talking to a girl you've dated for 5 weeks, and she tells you that her mother's sick, and she's sad. Serious is good, and that's you're sitting in that in the empathy of that, holding space with it. Heavy is bad. Heavy is like going into this defensive, argumentative, explaining energy, explaining type of thing, for no reason. For no reason. I don't allow heavy. I don't want heavy. Serious, no problem. I'll sit and listen, and I'll sympathize, I'll empathize, I'll hold your hand.
I'll tell you what though, in the moment when something pops up, and man finds himself explaining himself or justifying himself, that moment-to-moment habitual way of doing that is so fast and so quick, it's very difficult to catch ourselves doing it in the moment.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. It's an automatic knee-jerk reaction that comes not from here. You didn't think, well, now I'm going to get angry about this, or frustrated about this, right? It comes from within,
Actually, this leads into another topic I'm quite interested in, which I've noticed myself, is the difference between doing and being. I think some people read all this stuff and they're on a date. I had it recently. It was not a heavy conversation. It was a serious one. We're having a really engaging topic about life and stuff. Really interesting. And I went, oh no, I've got to do ease and light. This is getting too intense. And I switched out of it, started cracking jokes, and she was like, what are you doing? I was really enjoying that conversation. So as well as all these principles, there's a bigger layer. It has to be authentic and it has to flow naturally. And maybe even the fact it's authentic and flowing naturally is even more important than the individual concepts.
Yes.
I think that's an important thing.
That's a good way of saying it,
Otherwise you catch yourself and go, oh, I've been too much higher energy, now I've got to do this sexual energy, and it's not right in the moment.
Which is analytical thinking.
Yeah, you go into your head and you think, I've got to do this.
Now I got to get in my body. Check in with my head again. Okay, now I got to do this.
Yeah.
But fun, like, it should be fun because we're all, we've forgotten how to have fun.
What's your favourite joke right now?
Boy.
You haven't got a clean one, I'm sure.
It's a problem.
It's like me.
What happens when you sit on a grape? It lets out a little wine. There you go. That's a sweet
That's it. There you go.
Interrupting starfish.
Yeah.
Oh man. Alright, so this is ironic. So I was just talking about flowing, go in the moment, and now I'm going to completely shift gears into another topic. It's unrelated to the flow,
no
but it's next in the flow of the book, which is flakiness.
Oh, because I went in the book from this concept of being heavy.
Yes.
And then I shifted into this concept of blaming women for their bad behavior.
Right.
Right? And so we blame women because we are quote unquote flaky. They say they're going to meet us and then they cancel last minute. Or we go on a date with them and they seemed like they were sure having a lot of fun. That didn't seem fake at all. They were like engaged and fun. The second date, they were kind of like a little bit more distant, a little bit more quiet. The third date, fourth date, you can't get a hold of them. I'm sorry, I'm really busy these days. And in other words, you woman, you lied to me, because on the first date, you laughed at my jokes and you said you wanted to come see me and you were excited and I could feel that, right? So you misrepresented that because now you're not interested. You flaked. You blame women. You see? So, but what we never recognize in there is that, which we're getting into the next section, which is the concept that we never showed her anything in us other than that nice guy spirit on the first 2-3 days. Right. We never showed her any kind of passionate sexual energy that she just, without knowing it, she just kind of drifted away and lost interest. Which we'll talk about, I think, in the next chapter. Yeah. Because it's a powerful, powerful, powerful thing.
I'm also interested in another thing. I'm sure lots of guys have found this. Potentially go on a couple of dates that goes really well. And then either one of you goes into a patch of life where just logistically it's not possible. One of you may be traveling, or some might go into like exam season of their university, or if you're working, you might go into a really intense work period, you're working really heavy, and even though you both want to see each other, it's difficult to meet up. And often what happens, you have this great energy at the beginning, and just like every week it kind of has this sipping energy where it goes down and down and down, just through circumstance. What do you do in that situation where you can kind of feel the energy going? How do you bring that back?
Like I said, I mean, logistics are logistics. You're flying across the world. You can attempt to maintain a long distance relationship. So this is a difficult thing to do. Long distance relationships are not easy. And if somebody's successful in that, keeping that going for 3-4 years or whatever, that's pretty impressive to me, right? So, I don't know. That's a big question. How do you keep the love alive over a distance or over? And the distance could be in the same town, but she's completely caught up, like I said, in exams or trying to pass the bar or something. All right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because the danger I found, is something I'm guilty of, is what can happen is we had a really fun conversation and you had the energy and it just gets into logistics. Whereas you had fun, it's like, okay, I'm free for this amount of time next Thursday, so I'm doing this.
Yeah, it becomes a scheduling.
No, I can't. It becomes like a business meeting scheduling.
Yeah.
I think it's important, it's one of my big learnings, you always have to keep that spirit of fun. Even though there's a frustration, okay, you can't do this date, I can't do this date, and then I'm going here for 2 weeks, you can't do it. It's always having that spirit of fun between it, otherwise it just kind of goes...
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy because you want to see each other, and and you get a frustration because of the thing that's blocking you from seeing each other.
Yeah,
and that's life. That's the way it is.
That's life.
That's life.
I think that's why you're saying design your life. We talk about like that happens in London, right? That's where my mind goes to when you think about
London,
that. I met a girl on Monday night in London, and it was great. And then Tuesday, she lives an hour and a half away, and then work gets in the way, and the memory of the magic fades, and then meet someone else, and it's hard to actually get the initial spark off the road in a city like that. And it's like, I think the only real remedy, the only thing that I've done that's actually worked as a remedy is to renounce that kind of lifestyle and not live in a big city like London and have a way of living which is much more open, that gives me time and flexibility, and I gravitate towards women that have that kind of schedule. I don't have any strong bit of advice for a man who's working like a 14-hour corporate job other than to work less hours. Or to get the hell out of me. Renounce it. It's tough.
If you want to spend the maximum amount of time in the land of women, the best way is to not work.
Or date your work colleagues or date your neighbours, where there's no like transit time. You're going to spend time. I've always felt it powerful to, if I'm working in a certain place or studying a certain thing, it's powerful to be in those places and the kind of relationships that can get born out of that sort of intensity.
There's a little bit of a phenomenon with people working in like an environment or a restaurant where the waitresses and the chefs kind of hook up.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's true.
It always happens.
If you're that in such close quarters for
To
so
get a
long.
job working,
You've got so much in common, right?
Get your job working in the bar. That's all you have to do.
I have a guy that
Tango.
the guy that I'm talking to now, and he lives in LA, and he's got a good job, but he has to commute. He's got a long commute in the morning in the traffic, a long commute in the evening, and he's tired, you know. And his whole thing is, I would like to meet girls, but what do you say? He has no time. And in his job and in his commute, there's no opportunity to interact or, you know, wander into the path of women. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, I mean, there's guys that you know, that we've talked over the years who say, listen, I live in Pump Handle, Iowa, and there's like 3,000 people there, and I would like to get a supermodel girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Can you coach me through that?
Yeah.
It's structural solutions. You reinvented your life because you had a different priority than following the corporate dream. You said, I want to go and live in Brazil, for instance, and live in different countries, Argentina, stuff like that, so that I can explore these other sides of myself.
Well, you know, that was the thing that I told public people. The deeper reason was I like the girls in Brazil. That was the driving factor. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think that's quite an important point. Again, I think of marketing, so marketing guys, that you can have the best product in the world. If you're in the wrong market, it's not going to work.
There you go. It's the exact same thing. Yeah.
And I think for some guys, for me included, you can have, you're a certain type of guy, you might be born in a certain country. Sometimes your energy isn't fit to that country. It's like you're born in the wrong country.
Right.
You can take someone like Jordan, who's very spiritual, very deep. As soon as you move somewhere like Boulder, you have that community, you're kind of more naturally in tune with people.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing for people to explore and travel, because they can be up against this kind of wall, things aren't working, maybe they're in a really town where it's superficial and people are looking at this going, this is really deep, this is never going to work in my hometown.
Yeah.
It's like, well, move.
You know, the craziest thing I see even with guys that come here to Bucharest is they'll all follow you and Kelly to Player or Gaia or one of the big clubs and then stand around like not knowing what to do. And it's like, get out of the big clubs, get out of the old city, take a 5-minute walk and you'll start finding some hipster cafes or a bohemian club or a different kind of scene. And it's going to be easy for you to talk to everybody. And and again, guys are thinking, well, everybody else is going to the nightclub, so I'm going to go to the nightclub where there's the abundance, but it looks abundant, but actually it's not, it's not for them.
The nightclub is a fool's game. It really is.
I think we could talk about that in the way of men.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
We will.
The next
upcoming episode.
Sorry, the next topic is kind of empathy and leading to that, why you don't kiss and tell, discretion.
Oh, the respect.
The respect, yeah.
Yeah, you know, a man who loves women and who has women in his life, this guy, has such a profound respect for the plight of women who are judged in disproportionate ways that men are judged. And men can have a lot of girls, and that's the way he is. A woman has a lot of guys, or has abundance that way, or is more free in a physical way, is absolutely judged. And so this guy knows that if there's an experience, an evening, walking into the stars, anything like this, she has to have the feeling in her that her friends are not going to say, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, who's that guy? You know, or her family's not going to be finding out something, or co-workers. And so that's why there's these concepts out there of in this modern internet age, where there's entire forums and websites that are devoted to so-called field reports, which is I met this girl, I said this to her, she resisted this way, but she stopped resisting after I did this, and then I did this, and she took her top off, and she wouldn't go further than that, and then I finally convinced her to take her panties off, and I did this, and I in this entire like play-by-play, or even, not even that necessarily, but even just telling your buddies, hey guys, guess what happened to me last night? Score. Remember that girl I was with? Now if she knew that you were saying that, she feels small and and judged.
Yeah.
And that something between you two was kind of like, that was a private thing, is now exposed.
Yeah.
So this is why I wrote in here, a true lover of women, a real man, never kisses and tells. He never goes and brags to his buddies. He doesn't need the validation. He doesn't need the notch on his bedpost.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to say, guess what I did. He lies the other way. Most guys will kind of lie. Hey, what happened with Rich, with you and that girl last night? Oh, yeah, she was all over me, man, yeah. And really, she gave you a kiss on the cheek and went home. But you want to look cool.
Yeah.
Right? And Owen here, who's a lover of women, when we say, hey, we saw you with that girl last night, what happened? Oh, it was great. We had a long walk into the stars. It was fantastic. Great girl. Did you have sex with her? What did you do? She said, we had a long walk into the stars. It's like, you honor that because women are judged.
Yeah.
There's a respect in that. There's a respect in that. It's like saying, you know, I will hold that space, and I don't need to go and brag it. And the amazing thing about it is, if women know that, no one's going to find out. If women know that no one's going to find out, they really believe that, they're like, really? Oh, huh. Well, now let's have a conversation. Let's talk.
I'm reminded of something that happened when I was in Las Vegas, and I was staying at this place, and there was a girl who was actually a stripper there.
Shouldn't this be staying in Vegas?
Maybe. But for the purpose of this conversation, I'll break that rule. She was a stripper, and she was with a guy there, and I was talking to her one night, and she asked me about it. I was getting on quite well with him, and I was friendly with everybody. And I can't remember the question she asked me. It was about, I think I brought it up. So did you like him? Was he good to you? Something like that. And she said, yeah. What did you think of him? I said, if I'm honest, he was a bit braggy about her. So she said to me that it kind of felt like she was a prize, like a trophy, you know, in a way.
To show off.
Yeah.
Look what I got. Look what I won in my.
The way that was the way he told me about it.
Yeah.
I was like, this was last night.
Yeah, there's like this. I mean, guys think that's educational, and it helps other men to learn. You know what I had to do to get this girl in my bed, right? And I think so. Other people can learn from it. I don't buy into it because I believe discretion is incredible, and discretion is a strong thing. And if women believe that you're discreet, as in discretion throughout everything you do and say, it's a very valuable thing for her.
It's kind of a bit like there's a bit of conspiracy in there too, and it's a bit mysterious, you know.
Yeah. And it's us against the world again that we talked about.
The coolest thing I found about Don't Kiss and Tell, don't know how much of an effect I got from when other women find out they're going to be interested type thing. But I certainly noticed that after having been with a woman once and coming back to where I was, rather than telling any of the guys around me what had happened, I'd keep it all inside, and it would be all this energy like saved up for me. And as soon as I saw her the second time, it was just for us again, so it was like doubled or trebled.
No one knows, and you can. Yeah.
And I noticed that every single time I tell one guy or one girl that I was with someone last night, or that something happened, that's a little bit of energy that seeps out of the interaction. And when I see her again the next time, it's like, I'm kind of less excited to see you now because I've been talking about you with this and that person.
I shared it with someone else.
It's like bottling it all up just for you and her.
Yeah.
And I found it to be explosive for me.
It's almost like a little affair in some ways.
It's your secret garden. It's your
betrayal.
Yeah, it's a betrayal. I feel like it's a betrayal because my unspoken contract with women who connect with me is and maybe my spoken one is this is for you and me, and no one needs to know this. And I will not betray that. I will never betray that, right? However, let me make a distinction. I don't care if people know. It's not something I'm trying to hide.
Yeah.
Right? If she goes and tells all her friends, I slept with that guy or whatever, that's okay. Tell all your friends. Go tell them. Yeah, tell them. That's a good thing. Right?
Word
that's
of
okay.
mouth marketing.
Yeah. Word of mouth. I'm over here. Tell all your friends. So I don't mind if people know, but it's not going to come from me. She tells people she's okay. I'm good, but I'm going to protect that unfair judgment that the world casts upon her.
I think there's a bigger principle at play here as well. Is what are you doing it for? Like we talked about beauty and celebrating women. The real hidden agenda is I'm doing this so I can feel good about myself, or so I can brag to my friends, or so, hey, you're the hot girl on my profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
If that's your energy, then it's going to be needy, it's objectification, and it's just a vicious spiral. You're in it for the wrong reasons. It's like being in a job for money. It's in it for the completely wrong reasons.
Yeah. Exactly right.
That's the last concept, but maybe tying it up, that's quite a nice one.
That's that chapter.
Authenticity.
The way of the natural, huh?
Yeah.
We've done it.
Did we do the whole thing? Did we talk about new things, which is important? I think we did. I think that was a good enlightening conversation for me too. I really like that.
Yeah.
Very powerful.